I am your host, Eric Falgu, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's one of my oldest friends. I've been knowing him since I was about 16 or 17, and he's a great guy. He's got a lot to say. He's been through a lot, and I'm excited to bring him on, so please welcome Jacob Jacomine. Did I pronounce that correctly, Jake?
Hell no.
How you say it correctly?
So basically, I always tell people, like, well, it only works in New Orleans if you can pronounce Plaquemine, Jacomine. There you go.
Jacomine. Yeah. I don't know why I always say it like that.
Everybody screws it up, man. Even I mess my own name up, so
it's all good. All good, dude. How you been?
Busy as always. Between work, business, getting into photography.
Talk a little bit closer to the mic.
Remember? Getting into work, business. Getting into photography, everything like that, and just life in general, man. I don't have much downtime, so.
You're a busy man. You're multiple businesses, operator at a very big refinery, man. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually are, with the gym, we're expanding to Picayune, Mississippi, and everything like that. So that's another thing that's going to be.
What type of gym is it for people that don't know?
Infrared fitness studio by the name of HOTWORX.
Nice.
Out here, based in New Orleans, man. So
there you go, dude.
Yeah.
You can catch your sauna yogas and.
That's right.
Y'all added like a few other pieces of equipment, huh?
Yeah. We just added a row machine, stuff like that. So more workout, less time. So.
I remember when you told me you and your partner got the loan to go through. Remember that? I think I was like cutting your hair and you're like, dude, I'm waiting on this freaking loan to go through. Big ass loan, I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah, man. So
you remember that?
Dude, a part of me wants to remember it and a part of me doesn't, because it was the most stressful time of my life. To honestly take, I mean, it's crazy, because it literally took an act of God for me and my partner to get that loan. Literally a hurricane hit Panama City,
right, destroyed
the banking branch. I mean, 2 days prior, that woman basically told me we're not getting a loan, and we signed a lease. So here we are. We're possibly going to have to get a lawyer to get us out the lease. And then, it's like crazy shit. So my anxiety's through the roof.
The hurricane hit here?
A hurricane hit Panama City.
Oh, Panama City, yeah. And that's where y'all were getting through the bank.
Through the bank.
Gotcha.
The bank
I remember that, yeah.
United Midwest, they're based in Panama City, Florida, and the hurricane hit it. So when I tell people this is literally an act of God.
Right.
2 days later, the lady that told me we weren't getting the loan, quit.
No shit.
She
took your loan. She took your loan money with her.
No, man. So she quits.
No shit.
And then some other ladies she's like, we kind of don't know what's going on, so I guess you got the loan. So pretty much, literally when I tell people that, like, literally a hurricane hit and I got the loan because me and my partner got the loan to actually open up, $500,000. It was a $500,000 investment. So
how did you feel when somebody handed you like $250K? Like, you were like, what's going through your head?
I mean, to me, I've always been very fiscally responsible ever since I was younger. So somebody handing me $250,000, is debt, right? So it wasn't. I was excited the fact that we can progress with the project. It wasn't the fact that somebody, like, okay, here's $250,000.
All the money was accounted for.
Right. So
all of it.
Right.
Every single penny.
It's just like with a loan from a house, a mortgage. It was like, okay, so they gave me a mortgage for $205,000, right? And so it's like, it's debt. It's awesome because I got my first home. Right. But I mean, I got to pay the bank back. So it's not exciting. So if somebody gave me $500,000 cash or $200,000 cash money, tax free, whatever. Oh yeah, I'd be cartwheels and stuff.
But you had to. There was a lot of things that had to be done with it and accounted for.
Right, absolutely.
Like building out the place, and I remember walking in there with you and just being like, "Holy shit, dude! You're building like a HOTWORX." Which, for people at home, if y'all have never been to HOTWORX, it's multiple saunas, different rooms where you could do bike, different types of cardio, yoga. And I mean, I go there, so it's pretty wild. And just to see that, you know, from you talking about it, manifesting it to it actually happening, it was pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, it took a lot of work to get to that point to be able to do it. You know, it wasn't like I walked to the bank and said, hey, you know, like I want a loan for this amount.
Right.
It was a lot of, you know, a
lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts and pieces. Even reconnecting with my partner. I mean, it was a lot to it. Even being fiscally responsible to get the credit score, to get, you know, having enough money in the bank to put the down payment on. I mean, because we had to come out with a significant amount of cash to get the business running, because we couldn't. My partner and I, so there's multiple SBA loans, and they are stringent, especially if you're a first-time business owner. You know, and I know, like, you know, everybody's a business owner at one point in their life, but you want to talk about like a business owner that's dealing with a lot of money, and SBA wants to see that. Right. Like right now, like to get this next loan, oh God, they're like, the banks are banging on the door.
You know, because they're working on something else.
Well, yeah, we're going to open up another HOTWORX. Nice. And so it's the SBA. They're like, all right, dude, like you got your money. How much you need? Right. You know, so it's a little different because now they done seen you were able to open up this project and you have a track record now.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. It's major. I mean, that's major. So, but your first business that you open is it's hard because you're dealing with the banks. And they're more liable to give a kid, an 18-year-old kid, $100,000 to go fuck around with college, like student loans, right? Versus to give a kid 10 grand who's smart enough to turn that 10 grand into 100 grand. Right. It's insane. I mean, it's the American way.
Yeah, you know, I've had very similar situations. Yeah, it's like when you're in school, they'll give you all the money in the world because they want you to be in debt. But if you just try to go take out 5 or 10 grand, it's nearly impossible, especially right now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough right now.
Banks aren't giving out shit.
No.
I mean, unless, like, you know, you're worth a couple million or, you know.
You got to have assets. And this is, you know, I tell people, because the bank want your shit, right? They want to, like right now, you know, I don't have to, this next loan I'm doing, I'm putting my equipment up for collateral, right? So the bank's going to get something out the deal. Right. I don't own a building, so they can't own the building, but they can own my equipment. So they're going to get something back. They have some kind of collateral. And some of those loans, man, you got to put your house on the line. So it's a gamble, man. Look, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, I know, dude. Yeah, it's everybody wants to own their own business till they realize, oh shit, I own my own business. I got to pay taxes and make all the arrangements, and you know, you're working all the time. It's not like 9 to 5. You don't get to clock in and out. You're literally working right now.
Yeah,
I mean, literally on a business call before we started the show.
I don't get vacations anymore. I was in Tulum sitting there dealing with staff. Like while here I'm on vacation
in Tulum,
right? So I'm dealing with staff, you know. So I was out there. We were actually looking at some investment properties and stuff out in Tulum and stuff. I mean, my partner,
not a bad place to be working. I guess.
Yeah. So it was technically work, and you know, I did some photography stuff over there as well.
Work by the beach,
right?
Joking,
but still answering calls, still answering emails. So you don't get time off, right? So again, entrepreneurship, being a business owner is not. When you first start, like, you are all up in it. It's a 24/7 operation. Hopefully one day when your business grows, you can mentor or coach somebody into taking that role for you, where you're the owner now and not the owner manager per se.
Operator
stuff manager. So that's the ultimate push. Right. You know, that's what you want, where you can just, instead of you managing 20 employees, you're managing one person who can manage your 20 employees for you.
Right, which is really hard to do, as you've found out, because I know you went through a few people. Yeah, man. Nobody wants to fucking work anymore, dude. It's sad.
Yeah, and not only that, it's I don't know how to say this. It's a different. It's not that they don't want to work. I find they're coddled, right? So they don't, like I say, I'm dealing with Generation Z right now. Look, I'll tell this to anybody. Especially my staff, are great workers. Right. You know, they're great workers.
And you treat them well.
I treat them very well. The problem is they haven't been shown key key things like in life, like mainly how to talk to people. And that's hard to coach, right? It's hard to coach to tell somebody how to have a conversation with somebody.
People person, just people skills. Regular people skills.
So what do you think Generation Z has been doing? They are focused on this. So millennials, I'm a first generation millennial, but we're going into Generation Z, and they're very technologically savvy. These son of a bitches can like figure some stuff out. Like I feel like I'm old, like when it comes to technology. We
kind of are, dude.
We really are. And they can figure some stuff out, and it's like it's mesmerizing, but they just have a hard time conversating. But that's their generation. I noticed a lot of them, they just don't know how to interact with one another. They're the video game generation, big time.
You think it's because they've just been having their head down in their phone the whole time?
And look, and that is a prime example. I see a lot of parents give their kids at a very early age. I see this a lot where they give their kid an iPhone at like 10 years old. Like, dude, I was hoping to get like, I don't know, like, a little fishing game where you like capture the fish with the little fishing pole where the little thing jumps out.
Yeah.
You remember that shit?
Yeah,
I was hoping to get some shit like that at that age.
Yeah.
Like, you get an iPhone, right?
You talking about the one where like you put the hook in and like the fish are grabbing? Shit, dude, I don't even think they make that anymore.
Right.
They probably don't make that.
That's probably do an NFT on that one, right?
Oh yeah.
Make a bunch of money on that.
Yeah, probably make a shitload of money. Well, I mean, I got my first cell phone at 16 and I had to buy it, Nokia.
Nope, I had a Nokia.
For people that don't know what that is, and they only had one game, and it was Snake. And I got pretty fucking far at it, but yeah, that was before. And I had a pager. Shows how old I am. Beeper.
Yeah, I remember that. You
used to be able to like make words and shit, like say hello upside down, like just all kind of stupid shit. But who would have ever thought that we would be, talking through microphones like 20 years later?
20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later. Yeah, damn.
I remember like page it just popped in my head.
What made you want to start like a HOTWORX? I mean, you're already like a successful operator at a refinery. Like, what made you want to go, hey man, I want to open up a fucking business and like something totally different than what I'm doing? Went from like hot, crude oil to HOTWORX.
Dude, it's in my blood. Like my dad.
What, hotness?
I appreciate that, but no, just the entrepreneurship that go-getter attitude. So my dad, he was an operator, right? So that's where I got how I want to be in the industry. I knew what kind of money could be made,
right?
6 figures a year, right? And so I wanted the money, initially. Like I wanted the money. I love science. I love things of that nature. So
operators make a ton of money.
It makes a ton of money, and they have science. So it's like, cool, all right, I can do that. But what I saw in my dad, he had multiple jobs. So my dad was like worked as a process technician at Monsanto, and then was also the head foreman for the construction of Harris. Well, the head electrical foreman for construction of Harris Casino.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, so he that's a side job. And not only that, he had his electrical company. He had like his side jobs he would do, doing a little electrical work on residential. So my dad was a hustler.
Damn, dude.
So, and it's always been in my blood. Like I've always had 4 jobs.
Right. Yeah.
What I do. Even look, here we go. So I'll be quite honest with you. When I was doing an operator thing, I was like, I got bored. And I always saw my brother and my dad always had multiple things going on.
Right.
And even when I graduated P-Tech, and my dad said, okay, what's your next step? I said, this is a means for an end. So I never had the desire to say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be an operator for the rest of my life.
Right.
I want to see the world. I want to travel. I want flexibility. I love my dad to death. But he lost a lot of time with us working all those hours to give us a good life.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want to have time with my family. So here I am. I'm in my late 30s, but I want to be in a position when I finally have children that I can spend time with them.
Right.
I can go do these things. I can be at their baseball games, their football games, or just even coach them. That would be cool as shit to coach my children in sports they're doing. That would be cool as shit.
I've always wanted my parents to coach me in something.
Yeah. So that's my drive. That's my motivation to want to do more, to have that flexibility. you know.
Right.
You're working 12 hours a day at a plant, man. Like I got off night shift last night. Got home at 5 in the morning, sleep for a couple hours, be at my studio to manage the staff and do some work over there.
Right.
Here I am right now. I'm gonna sleep a few hours, go back to work in the morning.
There you go, dude.
It's a hustle, man. It's a grind.
I was in school for it for a little bit. You were helping me out, but I realized it just wasn't. I guess I started too late in life, and I realized it wasn't going to work out.
Well, it's never too late to do anything. I always tell people is it what you're going to be passionate about. You know, I went from a person that I didn't know if I was going to fucking live past 21 to here I am 38 years old.
Right on.
You know, and you know,
looking good, man. Knocking on 40's door.
Knocking on 40's door, man. I'm just trying to.
You take care of yourself, you know. You take care of yourself, and I know you got your little regimen, your little routine.
Yeah.
And you've kind of like evolved into a different type of fitness.
Yeah. You know, it's just, you know, we're kind of like talking about, you know, where we were talking about earlier, like where we were to where we are now. And I think the biggest thing is that drive. It's just like, you know, that I can't, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to, you know, I got to do this. I've always set a goal and I've always achieved it.
Right.
And so when people say they can't do something, and it's like, dude, like it's foreign to me.
Right.
Because humans are capable of doing so much more than what the world tells them that they can do or can't do. It's impressive. I mean, you're a David Goggins person. That dude is a beast. Like I read that book, Can't Hurt Me.
Changed my life.
And causes
changed a lot of lives.
Yeah, causes he's next level.
Mm-hmm.
But the moral of the story with him, like you couldn't tell him he can't do something.
Right.
And then like so when I hear somebody say I can't do something, I'm like, dude, that shit's foreign to me, man. Like I just
well, you get in your head, and it's kind of like my wrestling coach taught me that you know your body's used to doing a certain amount of shit.
Yeah.
And so like let's just say you were trying to run 3 miles, and then today you're like, man, I'm gonna run 4. Well, usually at the 3 mile mark, you quit, you give up, you're like, oh, I'm tired. But realistically, you could go a lot fucking longer. It's your brain telling you, hey, that's enough. But the body can go way further. And I mean, the mind could take it even further. It's just, you know, how far are you willing to go past that threshold? And I think that's what David Goggins, at least that's what I got from him. He went to a whole nother level.
Yeah, he's pretty next level, man.
Yeah.
But like I said, he'll sit there and even tell you, like, you're not going to be him.
No,
but you're going to push past. You're going to push some limits. You're going to push past. You know, you're like again, like you were able to run a mile like today, and then you're like, well, I can run a mile in a quarter. You know, like the next day, and so you sit there and keep pushing
baby steps,
baby steps. I mean,
you just got to put the shoes on first, man. Some people don't even put the shoes on.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So like, where are you at right now? I know. I mean, you got. And you also own a talent agency, or like what is the?
So
I always get confused.
Basically, what I was into was producing photo shoots.
Right.
Basically, what we would do, we would mentor up and coming models, even models that have been doing it for a while. Even teaching photography classes while at photo shoots and stuff like that. Like really empowering people, particularly the women.
Right.
I was talking about it earlier. It's amazing. Go figure. I was empowered to learn how to pick up a camera and I was actually a natural at it.
Right.
What I love most about photography is making people feel good about themselves.
Right.
So like, I mean, the whole life's always about helping people, making people feel better. And I now have this magical tool in my hand that can really make people feel really great about themselves. And I got some really cool ass success stories that have come out the events, you know. Probably my favorite thing at the events is like when you show that the back of the camera after you take the picture and you got a model's like, oh my God, look what you did. I'm like, I didn't do shit. Like I just captured your mood and the moment.
You see people. You see people.
I see people in their beauty, man.
That's it, dude.
And
that's a gift, man.
Yeah.
I suck at taking pictures. Every now and then I get a good one and my wife's like, oh, that was a good picture. But I'm like, for the most part, I'm like, But I see it with the hair, you know, when I do hair, it's like they'll show me a picture and I'm like, oh, I got that.
Right.
And like, you know, I see the end result, like, and I just start cutting. So I guess it's similar.
That is, it's you're an artist. So
are you.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, people are like, oh, you're a photographer. And I'm like, you know, I consider myself an artist because not only do I take a picture, like after the picture's done, they got post editing. So post editing, I'm in Photoshop painting, like literally hand painting shit.
Yeah.
And it takes, and people wonder why photographers charge so much. One of my photos, one of my edits is like 30 to 45, depending on how much work I have to do and how much artistry I want to put into it.
That's one picture?
That's one photo.
Holy shit.
So if people like freaking the fuck out about like how much photographers charge, I said a great photographer is going to charge you a lot of money, but it's going to be worth it.
Right.
You're going to have a work of art. You're not going to just be a photo. It's going to be a work of art. Kind of like what you charge top dollar for haircuts because you create a work of art.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of like my old mentor told me, cheap shit ain't good and good shit ain't cheap.
That's correct.
So it's I guess it all depends on what your value of something is. I mean, but hair is the only thing that I've done for free and done for money.
Yeah.
Besides the podcast.
Yeah, well there you go.
Yeah. Everything else I'm charging.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, like, I love cutting hair just like you love photography.
Yeah.
I remember when you first told me you were buying your first camera, I was like, damn, dude, he's like pretty psyched about this.
Yeah.
And I know that feeling. And so I've watched you go on all these trips and journeys and mentoring these girls. And, dude, you're really good at it.
Appreciate it.
So it kind of fucking blew my mind. I was like, man, maybe he's you're a philosopher, I love hearing you talk, and I mean, I've learned so much from you, but then I'm like, is he really going to be good at this also? And then I'm like, yep.
So I never, and I said this like last
with
night.
minimal training, by the way, minimal training.
Yeah,
right?
I never went to school. I never went to. I think what I have going for me is in the genetics. Like my grandfather was a combat photographer, so he was doing some dangerous shit, shooting airplanes, crashing into aircraft carriers, World War II. And so I shoot probably the world's most dangerous creature, which is women. No offense.
Right on. Right on. Shout out.
But so I guess it's something that passed along because it's genetics, right? So I just actually had an eye for it. What was crazy was. Years ago, I dated, and she was absolutely stunning. It was the first love of my life, Courtney Lee, and she went to LA Fashion Week and was the #1 model out of LA Fashion Week. I mean, this girl was extremely talented, great model. Could have did runway all over the world.
Based out of New Orleans?
Based out of New Orleans. Her family was from Trinidad, Tobago. Very tall, perfect runway model.
Right.
She didn't pursue it or whatever, but for her to sit there and say, "Hey, you got a talent," and this is years ago,
right?
And I'm with a Sony CyberShot or some shit. I forgot what kind of camera it was.
Yeah.
You go and like, oh, take a picture of me and my friends, and I would sit there and snap, and I'd get it right every time. The composition, I'd move them around and pose them and all this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I just knew what I liked.
Right.
And a lot of her photos ended up in her portfolio, and she ended up going to LA Fashion Week with the photos I took. And she said, "Hey, you need to get into this." But it's crazy. 20-something years later, like I get into I meet somebody. We start this events production company together.
Right.
I pick up a D3500, which is the baseline Nikon camera. And what really got me into it was a friend of mine. We're good friends now. He's an artist, man. Like when he takes a picture, it is art. Like you seen that one on my mantel place and pictured cigarette in my mouth.
Dude, yeah,
it's my favorite. It's literally he was the one that talked me into getting serious with a camera, and he's like, "You got the eye." And I had several professional photographers to tell me that, like, "Dude, you got the eye. Like you shot that with what kind of camera?" I said, "D3500." They're like, "Dude, really?" And it's like, they're like, "You're shooting better than a lot of supposedly professional photographers with this base camera."
Right.
And
so a D35 is like the base.
It's like the
base.
baseline. It's probably it's my baby. I miss that camera. It was such a good little camera.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, man. It found a good home to somebody that is a landscape photographer. So my camera is still out there in the world traveling.
Damn, dude.
Doing its thing, man. But I mean, and so I started pursuing it. I wish I had more time with it right now, but I'll free up some time next year to start going. I got some shoots. I got Jamaica.
Right.
It's gonna be a pretty big event, and then I'm gonna host another event probably in August in Tulum. So
you went to Tulum a couple months ago, huh?
Yeah, man. Beautiful place. Very spiritual, man. Like it's got it's a good vibe. It's a very good vibe. Very fits my personality, so I really enjoyed it, man. And I did a little photography work down there, looked at some properties and stuff, some real estate investments, and just kind of chillaxed a little bit,
So that's, yeah, man. I remember when you went on that trip and you were telling me, I went to Mexico first and I was like, hey, you're going to fucking love this place.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking, I forgot where we were looking at, but I like Tulum, but I can't remember the exact location we were at.
Isla Mujeres, something like that?
Yeah, man, but I don't think I could afford that property. At least not yet. At least not yet. Anyway, but yeah, dude, I wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
So what's your love life like right now, dude? You seeing anybody? You dating? What you doing? What's the
man? So, dude, I see a lot of negative. So look, I actually had this conversation the other day, man. I see a lot of negativity on Facebook about like how dating in the 30s and 20s, well, just dating in general sucks ass.
Mm-hmm.
I can't agree with that. To be honest with you, I've been single for 4 years, and I've met some amazing women. It's this little hiccup per se.
Right.
They can't have kids. It's like they can't have children or don't want them, and I can't ask them to have that.
Right. Because
they already had
a family. You
want a family.
Yes.
So currently in that situation too. Like I'm, a friend of mine. We've been friends for years, and we end up started kind of seeing each other, and then it's kind of the same situation. She wants to travel, she wants to do this, and she's not interested in having children. She might not be able to have them either. So it's kind of the same. It's kind of that same thing. But I mean, as far as like in general, like dating in general, I think it's I just don't have the time right now to like really settle down per se. I'm busy, and I don't half-ass anything. You've been knowing for a long time. I got a very, very, very good work ethic, and even when it comes to relationships, like I work my ass off. Like,
right.
If something's wrong, I'm gonna go fix it. Okay, boo. What I need to fix? Okay, cool. We're gonna go to therapy. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna do some research and learn about myself and how my partner thinks. I just don't have that energy right now, man.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. So casual is a good thing for me right now.
Right.
Like something very no commitment, no pressure, because I don't have the energy.
Yeah, because you're a big energy guy. You're a signs guy, huh?
I'm a signs guy.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. I love when you tell me about myself or other people, I'm like, man, he's so right. But some people don't believe in that shit, but dude, I do.
I'm extremely surface level with it. Like, I know some people that get really down and dirty with that shit, and they're like spot on. Like they'll like pick me apart, and I'm just like try to like argue with them, which is kind of a part of my sign. And I was like, you're right.
Right. Well, that's what's so funny, right? It's like people are like, oh, I don't believe in that shit. But then when I read what a Virgo is, I'm like, holy fuck, that's all of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could even add some shit to the list. But
yeah, no doubt.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of hard not to believe. But some people don't like being told who they are anyway. No, so, man. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm comfortable.
Some people are not open-minded, man.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that really accelerated my growth was being humble.
Right.
Was being okay with being wrong. Being okay with somebody, a third party, pointing out that, hey, you're fucking up. And you're like, damn, man. And you start really internalizing and really looking at it and like yourself, and you're like, yeah, you're right. A lot of people can't do that, man. A lot of people can't be wrong. People will argue with you just to be right. And you could sit there and Google the shit, like literally like have the facts in front of them, and somehow you're still wrong. That's just how people are nowadays, man. We live in a very narcissistic society where everybody wants to be right. Everybody egotistical. And it stems up. I mean, honestly, I think it's like parenting. Like they never told their kids they're wrong.
Yeah,
my kid's always right. My kid's better than yours.
Well,
shit like that, man.
I was as I was preparing for this podcast today, I was driving in my car and I listened to one of the first quote unquote practice episodes that me and you did, and I remember telling you that everybody wants to give their kid like a trophy.
Yeah.
Like everybody deserves a trophy. Like everybody's a fucking winner now. Yeah. And I just don't agree with that, because I remember my dad telling me, he's like, hey man, you're not that good at this. You suck actually. But there's something else you can do. Or like, and my dad loves like football.
Yeah.
Big old fucking football fan, watches LSU till, the cows come home.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who's playing. I don't even really pay attention to it. It's not my thing.
Right. No, of course.
And I played it, didn't like it. And he never like forced that upon me. And now I feel like when I see like my nieces and my nephews or like other kids, like this Generation Z shit, it's you know, they're like, oh no, you're doing great, which is fine and dandy, but it's like, hey man, they didn't win.
Yeah.
They lost. And like, you know, in wrestling, there were 6 podiums to stand on. I stood on 5 and I thought I was a loser.
Yeah.
You know, because that guy was the number 1 guy, he won.
Yeah.
But now everybody's a winner. I mean, I don't know.
I 100% agree with that. You know,
and I guess that's where like that shit's coming from. I guess, I don't know. That's just all guesstimations and assumptions.
And again, to tie back to what David Goggins says, we're raising generations of soft people. So it is actually easier. So if you raise your children to understand defeat and failure and learn from it and to grow from it,
right.
like from failures that you've done. I mean, I don't even call it failures. I call it lessons now.
Failing was the best thing that ever
failing
happened
forward,
to me.
man. And guess what? You have no choice but to be successful.
Yeah.
Because you now are tempered to be successful. You're wired to understand failure and how to grow from that. And you got people, like I said, that these trophy winners that just giving them whatever, that the littlest thing screws up for them, and it's the end of the world.
Right.
And they crack. Like I posted the other day, don't lose your shit.
Right.
Like losing your shit is acquired. It's not exactly exploding. It is like literally being so paralyzed by that failure that you just don't even move. You don't even try to do anything. You don't even try to be better or wreck your life.
Well, it's because they were never taught how to like fail and like get back up.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, the master is the master because he's failed 1,000 times. That's why he's the master.
Exactly. And so we kind of talked about, you know, what brought us to where I'm at today. And look, I was one of those kids, right? I was, you know, I was grown up in a very, you know, a family environment, hard worker, but I never experienced life away from home. Right. I never experienced failure, true failure, like, you know, or, you know, a lot of change at a sudden time. And I had that entitlement attitude where it's like, oh, well, I should be having this. I should have this.
Right.
Oh, woe is me.
Right.
And I self-destructed, dude.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah,
Just led into a slew of crazy shit that I went through.
Right.
And then I had to, like, get out my own goddamn way and say, hey, dude, ain't nobody gonna save you. You got to fix yourself. You got to make the improvements. You know? And a lot of people, the kids nowadays, they're not gonna know how to do that.
Right.
That's why suicide rates are up. That's why you got so many different like things, but society is trying to coddle that.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, mental health is a big deal. Like it's not a stigma anymore. It's not. And there are people that truly need the help. Right.
Big time.
But you know, you got a kid that, I mean, I see this crazy stuff where they like lose a game and then like they throw this biggest hissy fit, or somebody tells them no, and they lose their shit because they're not used to that.
So we're losers.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I know what it stems from.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's a winner.
Right,
you know?
right. But I mean, if everybody's a winner, who the hell's a loser?
Right.
It's kind of, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if David Goggins, I guess, never failed at shit, I guess he wouldn't have became David Goggins.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
I mean, if I would have never failed at stuff, I mean, I think dude, probably in my eyes was, you know, my proverbial rock bottom in my 30s. I failed. In my eyes, I failed, dude. So I'll never forget this shit. So I woke up one morning, you know, my relationship was over with. Realized I'm 34 years old. I'm overweight. 240. I was like 240 pounds at the time. I looked in the mirror and and like kind of like David Goggins, I had these mirror checks every once in a while, right? And I looked at myself in the mirror, and not only was I disgusted with what I was seeing, but how I felt internally. I felt like I failed. I put society's norms like, all right, dude, you're 34, never got married, never had kids. Like, you are a fuck up. And it's like, oh my God, like I hit this rock bottom, dude, and I lost it, dude. Like I'm talking like anxiety, depression, like it just all came out. But I had to get my shit together, man. I had to have that moment like, oh God, like this sucks, and just bounce back, go to the normal routine, talk to my parents, and like have really good conversations, and then get back in alignment and be like, you know what? I've been through worse shit. And I pick myself back up and keep fighting through it. And here I am. But what I did this time, obviously I failed in that relationship. I learned about myself. I learned how to be a better boyfriend, a better husband, a better friend, a better lover, all these different things. Start reading books like The 5 Love Languages. Probably one of the greatest books you can possibly read when it comes to love, dude.
Right.
That's some dope shit. That really changed my perspective on love. So I went and said, okay, so this relationship didn't work. What do I need to do to improve it? I even learned some things about myself to be successful in a relationship. Being able to be myself.
Right.
That's a major
important,
thing.
dude.
It's a very important thing.
Yeah, it's very important.
Because you got to be able to be yourself around each other, like not walk on those eggshells. So I learned that.
Yeah.
So, but again, I thought I failed. It really didn't fail. It was a lesson. It was learned, and I became a better man for it.
I mean,
right?
I remember when it happened, dude. It's I've watched you evolve into the man I see right now, and it's been pretty wild.
The haircut.
Yeah, that helped. That helped with the tears, man.
Haircut started off, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember when you were going through that breakup, and I just remember, the Jacob back then is not the Jacob that I'm talking to right now, and I remember how much motivation and I mean, dude, you helped kind of change my life a lot of the things you do and have done. And, you just took a different turn. You kind of transitioned into this wanderlust person that you are right now.
Yeah, man. And it was again, self-discovery is a wonderful thing, but it's a dark thing because you got to deal with some deep, dark shit that I'm still finding out every day that I'm learning some things about myself, man. It's it's pretty okay. But you really start learning how to self-analyze. Look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, what I don't like, and really have these self-talks to yourself, man. Like these internalizing things. And in me, I'm so analytical. If I'm feeling a certain way, there's got to be a reason why I'm feeling like this.
Right.
And so, and now discover that. And if it's something I don't know, I go reach outside of myself. I go ask somebody, or go read about it, go do these different things. And man, it's been a really interesting journey. I don't know. I'm so critical of myself that I just want to keep constantly improving. And like I told you, when people ask me who I am, what I told you earlier, there's two questions in life that are really going to screw people up throughout their entire life. Who are you? What is your purpose? At a very early age, I discovered my purpose, what brought me joy, and that's helping people. Right. That's why I'm on this podcast, because I want to help people. I want to talk to people. And that's what I do. And I take joy in that. So I got one of those. You were born with that. I was born with that. Yeah. I already knew what I wanted to do, but it's who am I? Who am I has always been one of the biggest questions in my life that it always brought me anxiety. So then here, after all these years, I discovered how to answer that question. I'll never be the same Jacob every day.
Right.
I'm going to learn. So we're having this. I'm going to learn something from this podcast. I'm going to be a different Jacob when I walk out this room tonight. Right.
Right.
So then that's question.
The plan.
That's the plan. It's the goal. So it's always going to be asking that question. I'm always going to chase that. Who am I? I've learned something new. Is this who I am? No. I keep it really simple now. I'm a simple man. I'm a humble man that just wants to improve himself every day to be a better friend, a better lover, and a better a better human. That's it, and that's my answer to everybody when they ask me who I am.
You're a big believer in like mental health and mental illness and all those things?
Yeah, man. So, and this was a very hard conversation I had with my mom. It still kind of hits me right here in the heart because my parents didn't know how to deal with me when I was in my early 20s. I really had a breakdown.
Right.
And man, I really had to go, again, I got a lot older. I started really self-reflecting and looking at my childhood and my past and actually going to get medical help. I'm diagnosed depressed. I'm a high functional depressed person. I can still operate. I don't let it derail me. I have ways to deal with it.
Right.
But even as a kid, I used to go hide and play with my toys. I used to go build Legos. I used to never want to deal with people because that was my escape. That was my way to deal with my depression. I was depressed as a kid and didn't even know it.
Right.
I felt anxiety getting on a football field at 7 and 8 years old, nervous if I was going to perform right, and had these little butterflies. You know what anxiety feels like, the little butterflies. Even I had that as a kid. So fast forward, you know, in my 19s, you know, I have this breakup and all this other major change in my life, and have this breakdown. And I was an animal, man. Like, it was no control on me. I was wilding out, getting drunk, you know, started doing a lot of drugs, stuff like this.
Right.
And I was coping, and that's the only way I know how to deal with it. Nowadays, it's like, again, I had to go get help, go get therapy, and sit down and really understand depression at its core and realize it's not my fault. I was born this way.
Right.
You know,
so you were strictly diagnosed like with depression or any
depression,
other?
anxiety.
Right.
It is very manageable. I don't like doing medicine. I manage it with exercise, meditation, different things. You know, I no longer cope with, you know, alcohol, anything like that. And that was a big problem in my early 19, when I was 19, 20,
Right.
you know, 21. Very big problem.
Depression is it's a motherfucker.
It's a motherfucker. So yes, I'm a very big mental health expert. You know, I'm very understanding of it. And when people open up about certain things, I listen. So when people ask me, why do I love helping people? Because I don't want people to feel like I did.
Right. Right.
I always tell them that. Like, and that's the truth. I don't want people to ever feel like I did.
You have ADD or ADHD?
ADHD.
Yeah, same as
Perfect.
me. And right. And people don't realize this, but when you suffer from whether it's ADD or ADHD, you do suffer from depression, because
Big time.
I didn't know that until I was way older, until I got diagnosed, because you know, I was up and down. I thought I was bipolar. I still think I'm bipolar. I'm actually going to get a psych evaluation soon. Just my psychiatrist doesn't
I don't think
counselor. She my therapist doesn't think I am, but I guess dealing with the ADHD and trying to medicate myself, and you know, I didn't start getting medicated till I was 30. I'm trying to figure out, well, why am I still having these depression feelings, or you know, things that you know, I'm happy one day, I'm sad one day, but it all stems from that illness too, that ADHD. It's like you high, and then you low, and it just drains your brain. So
yeah, man. So look, I had it was recent, and I'd gotten some trouble at work, so I got sent home. And one of the big things that came up, I had to do a psych evaluation, you know, because basically, I mean, it's a story, but basically somebody lied to me, and they said I was threatening somebody, and it wasn't the truth.
Right.
So they said, in order for me to come back to work, I actually had to go get a psych evaluation. So cool. Straight up was diagnosed like textbook ADHD. What I learned about the shit is that our brain is like an ADHD person, its brain is focusing so hard to concentrate. Like, I'm staring at this bottle of water right now. My brain is struggling to keep its eyes on it, just to focus on that.
There's so many
so
things
somebody
going on.
interrupts you, you have a temper.
Right.
And it's a natural response. It's almost like you got PTSD from like being in the military from gunshots. It rattles the brain.
That would explain my little bitchy outbursts sometimes.
Right. So, and that is textbook ADHD. And so I didn't know that shit. Look, dude, I'm 38 years old. I just found this out.
Right.
I thought I knew everything about ADHD.
It explains a lot, though.
It does explain a lot. So it does tie to anxiety, doesn't tie to depression. It ties to a lot of behaviors on how to interact with other people.
Right.
ADHD people have the tendency to interrupt a lot.
Right.
They have the tendency to not pay attention to what people are talking about. And it's a really disrupting thing, dude. It's a thing that really affects your life, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, and look, to sit there with a therapist that yet again, you know, which I always could suggest therapy, man.
I love therapy.
I love therapy.
I love
to be
it.
honest with
It changed my life, dude.
Therapy changed my life too.
I didn't get to go till I was 30.
Yeah,
I wish I would have went when I was like 7.
Yeah, man.
Maybe even 5.
You know, and people don't know, but the problem is that people, again, it ties to, they worry about what people think, right? So
Correct.
Here you go to therapy, and somebody finds out you go to therapy, and you're worried about, you think you're crazy. Man, fuck them. Like,
yeah, man.
Honestly,
we're all crazy.
We're all crazy in our own ways, but at least that's a very humbling thing to be able to admit that you have a problem. And, you know, just like with anything else, to say, hey, look, I admit, like, I'm screwing up.
Right.
That's powerful, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like, if you could do that, you're going to change your life. And anything you do, like to say, hey, I'm not doing well at this. That's admitting that that's a humbling experience. That is changing growth in its finest form.
Right.
Like, and I always tell people that, man. Like,
well, being aware of how your brain works, having that specific thing is the key, I think, because I've been given tools, I try to utilize them on a daily basis, but I still fuck up because I'm human. And, you know, the character defects, if you will. And each time I fuck up, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to practice on being better at that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always working on it, always working on myself.
Yeah, man. The biggest thing is that some people, and I'm one of them, there's been some times in my life where I'm on the up and up. It's kind of like with fitness.
Right.
All right. So you're doing great, and all of a sudden you get to this size that you want, and then you start kind of taking your foot off the pedal a little bit, right? And then next thing you know, it starts snowballing. You make you created a bad habit. I started eating Taco Bell, like tons of calories, and then all of a sudden it starts adding up and snowballing. That's the problem with people in general. We all have that problem.
Every single one of us.
And you got to have discipline to get back on the horse, man. Like, and it's mental health is the same thing. Like,
yeah, dude.
You know, like I went, phases where I had certain routines to help me with my ADHD.
Correct.
You know, I was taking my medication, which honestly, I'm better off without it. Yeah, I'm better off dealing with it, like hyper focusing, exercise, which helps with ADHD, big time, fitness, and just your overall health, and being more self-aware of my behaviors. Like when somebody's talking, just kind of,
like I'm doing right now.
Right. It's
fucking killing me, man. I want to be like, ah.
Right, man. So, and we
have a lot to say.
Yeah, we do. We got a lot to discuss, and we can talk a lot, man. We talk all night. I mean, that's just the way we are. But the biggest thing is being able to. It's crazy. This is hard for people like us with ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
Sit there and not just want to rock.
I'm just listening, man. I'm listening.
So this is a pretty cool tool to kind of help you with ADHD, right? A podcast.
I think so. I definitely have to be very calculated with it, and kind of like you were saying, I have to live by a schedule. When I don't live up by a schedule, shit's all over the place. When I follow a schedule, I'm pretty solid.
Bro, like scheduling and writing things down, and this is I'm gonna just admit this right now. Again, it's a humbling experience. It took me this long to actually start writing shit down because I always could remember shit.
Well, yeah.
And now I'm getting older, so I'm forgetting stuff. So now compound being forgetful with it, that's a sign of ADHD. Now I got so much shit going on that I'm bound to forget something if I don't write it down.
Right.
So after all these years, I finally have to have a schedule of shit I got to do, man.
Correct.
You know what happens if you don't. You're not going to do it.
Yeah. You have to. Like, I try to text it in my phone, trying to be modern, and I just do better writing the shit down.
Yeah.
Like, literally day by day. And I just work better like that.
It's so funny because, when I was telling somebody, it's like, dude, I'm writing this thing down. This is like a game changer. People like looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, you don't write shit down? I'm like, no. They're like,
a lot of people don't, man. A lot of people don't.
Like, even when I was in school, like when I was in grade school, I would remember my homework. I knew I had homework. I never forgot my homework. I always just knew. But again, the older you get, you got more and more information going into that brain, and then it's hard to manage your life. So yeah, like I'll tell that to anybody, like in general, write shit down, like write a schedule, write stuff down, and follow it. You're more motivated. It's a science behind it. Like you're more motivated to be task oriented. Like you have a list, you're going to knock it out as quick as possible. Most people do that.
Correct.
So it actually kind of eliminates that, the
fuck up factor.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get to that later.
Procrastination kind of eliminates that too, man.
Yeah.
So
I procrastinated a lot today.
Yeah.
Even though I got a lot of shit done, I guess.
Dude, I felt like I got nothing done today, but I got a ton done when I actually looked at my list.
Oh yeah.
Let's do the list.
Yeah, that's that last minute ADHD brain.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Doing shit last minute and getting shit done. How much time? 49 minutes.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling a little bit.
Whatever you got, man.
Yeah. All right. The ADHD brain is a lot more difficult than people think.
Yeah.
For people with it, they get it. People that without it, they don't get it. You know, sometimes my wife doesn't get it. She's like, I don't understand. I'm like, I think she has a little ADD.
Yeah.
She's not as hyper as me.
You know, and I'll tell anybody this. You know,
hit the mic.
Oh.
No, I'm saying just talking to it. Yeah.
So I think, you know, most people, you know, that's a big, big, big factor in a relationship. Like a person that is dating somebody that has ADHD, that's a discussion, man. But again, that's you admitting, hey, look, I got ADHD. I'm not just saying I forget shit. I'm saying I got the whole shebang. Like the short temper, you know, like not a temper, but like get really agitated when somebody interrupts or something like that.
It's hard for people to be with us.
Yeah, it is a game changer. Right. Like once I've discovered, like, oh shit, like I'm like, dude, like I started going back and thinking about my 7-year relationship. I'm like, dude, like, damn, dude, I was kind of bad. Like, yeah, man, you know, because like, you know, it'd create arguments. I'd forget stuff. I would sit there and leave, like, make a mess. That is a hallmark, dude. Like ADHD people are messy people, dude.
Right.
Like, and you know, we got to have a set routine and stuff like that. And it takes a strong partner to deal with it.
Right.
But I mean, it will help that partner if they understand like all the symptoms and stuff like that.
I definitely see that it's caused a lot of, knowing the things that I know now, it's definitely caused a lot of issues in my past relationships. Yeah. Just with work and everything like that.
Yeah.
I like to move around a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I get bored real easy.
That is one of the hallmarks.
It's like I feel like I want to go everywhere, but I belong nowhere.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. You know, like I get bored of places. I like traveling, and then I don't know.
I can't stay. It doesn't matter how pretty a place is. I can't stay there more than 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
Tulum was a little different. I don't know what it was about it. I really just felt that peace there. It was the energy, the vibe. I don't know, but I didn't want to go home. That was the first time in a long time I went somewhere and didn't want to come home.
Right.
You know, so it's a little different, but you know, when we went to Italy, dude, Rome, awesome.
I remember you telling me that's like one of your favorite places.
Oh, dude, it's like so much history and architect. I mean, it's sensory overload, man.
Right.
Like especially for people with ADHD, you know, it's overwhelming.
Right.
You know, I used to be a very big crowd person. I could deal with crowds and stuff, and Rome wasn't like really packed. It's really kind of reminded me of
I hate being around people.
Yeah. I mean, it gets
too many people.
Too many people, right? So only
claustrophobic.
Yeah, certain circumstances, but it's sensory overload, man. You got a lot of things going on at one time, and that, man, dude, your brain's trying to like hyper focus on things and try to read. It. Like it's a lot, man. But it's a really beautiful city. But even then, after a day there, a couple days there, I was ready to go home. Like I mean, I loved Italy. Italy is amazing. But it didn't take long. Within a week, I was ready to go back to New Orleans. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is, man.
No
New
place
Orleans
like
got my
home.
soul, dude.
Yeah, it's no place like home. Every time I fly somewhere, then I'm like, I don't want to go back. And then a couple days later, I'm like, shit, I'm ready to get home. So you're opening up a new HOTWORX?
Yeah, man. So the new HOTWORX, hopefully the game, it should be open this year, man. We had a couple setbacks. Basically, this is crazy shit, but the first space we looked at, the landlord didn't have the floor plans, and he quoted a certain amount of width of the studio, of the space.
Right.
And when we actually went out there and measured it, we were in negotiations, and this is going on for some time. And then we went out there with the contractor, and contractor measured it, and it's actually a foot less than the minimum requirement. And so it's no way. It literally changed our entire floor plan,
right,
of what it was going to be. And we absolutely hated what the new design was going to be, and we just pulled out of that space. So, really, right now, we're looking at a spot, and you know, that's going to be on my you know, to-do list is to really work with the realtor to get this deal done, to get the lease signed and all that, so we can start construction and everything.
Right on. Well, dude, think about, we got to wrap it up. It's getting late. I know you got work tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Definitely gonna have you on again soon, because I love picking your brain and talking to you, and hopefully a lot of people got something out of it. I know I did. And where can people find you at, like your studio? Where can they find you at on social media?
Oh shoot. So
your talent agency.
Well, yeah, that's kind of in the dumps at the moment.
Right.
So,
right.
But you can find me on Instagram, the Gentleman Agent.
Yeah, I love that.
And then from the studio, the business is going to be in Metairie, 3814 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, right next door.
Shout out.
Right next door to Firehouse Sub, man.
There you go, man. Shout out, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, Jacob. And as always, pleasure talking to you. And I look forward to having you back, man. And good luck to you.
I appreciate
all your
it,
endeavors, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, brother.